Hello, everybody. Welcome to my presentation. My name is Ruben Medina, and I am a PhD student from the University of Alicante at the program of Translations. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce you to my research results to the topic A Contrastive Analysis of Conflict Mineral Collocations Along the Supply Chain, a case study in Germany. Which is the problem? Which problem was identified? Conflict minerals literature has evolved rapidly in the last decade. However, investigations from a translation perspective are still scarce. In 2017, an EU conflict minerals regulation came into force, which is intended to prevent firms from financing armed conflicts through their raw materials procurement. Firms are required to take various measures to identify risk along their value chain and to trace the origin of the conflict minerals their products contain. This research analyzed the existing literature as it pertains to past and current trends, identifying existing gaps and defining a categorization of the translation errors according to the meaning of the error. How can professional translators evaluate translations errors? How can practitioners document conflict minerals reports and which phraseological units best fit to them? Review and analyze the past literature of conflict minerals is one of the goals to this research. One of the objectives of this study is to identify standardized phraseological units in general and collocations in particular to support all stakeholders. Propose an update definition about the categorization of translation errors. Collect evidences of English, German, and Spanish collocations, elaborating a representative database through a content review of the literature based especially on the conflict minerals report template of the Responsible Minerals Initiative (RMI). This research aims to make new contributions to the current literature in order to help academics and practitioners document conflict minerals reports in an efficient, effective, and structured manner. This article aims to address this need by examining a number of expressions in Spanish, English, and German language units from the conflict minerals report template of the RMI initiative. This research follows the research model according to Pfeffers et al., which is split in 6 steps. Step 1, identifying the problem and motivate. Step 2, defining the objectives of a solution. Step 3, design and development. Step 4, demonstration. Step 5, evaluation. And step 6, communication. The structure of the thesis is split mainly in 3 parts. The first of all is the introduction. The second part is, is oriented for research works, chapters 2 to 12, and the last part will be the conclusion and implications. The research works are individually and have the characterization to be accumulative. Thus, this thesis is accumulative and integrating every one paper will be finished and can be completed. which methodology and methods are being having applied. A literature review in the ProQuest, the database, the Responsible Minerals Initiative, and Google Scholar academic databases is performed. The case study focused on a leading manufacturer of electronic products certified on ICX standards and ADEX standards. The firm is a global-based player, global player based in Germany with 1,669 employees and a 275 million turnover. Qualitative data analysis was conducted following Miles and Huberman methodology, consisting mainly of 3 parts: data reduction, data displaying, and conclusion. Conflict minerals report. How conflict mineral reports are documented. Here is an example of one conflict minerals report, which is in Spanish, but the report is available in over 10 languages. It can be seen there are a number of questions. In this case, there are 7 questions. The question number 1 is intended to ask if you, or in this case, if the company has one of those 3 TG minerals in the product. This the second one, yeah. Ask again, are the 3 TG minerals remaining in the products? And the number 3, which is wondering about the origin of those minerals. In that case, number 3, ¿alguna de las fundidoras de la cadena de suministro provee el 3TG de los países cubiertos? Then, question number 4. ¿Se origina el 100% del 3TG necesario para la funcionalidad o la producción de sus productos, del reciclaje o de las fuentes de residuos? In that case, the company origin of study ask one of its providers, and this is an answer like no, it's not the case. Which percentage of providers, relevant providers, having submit their questionnaire along the supply chain, and for that case was for a couple of those minerals 100% full. Question number 6. ¿Ha identificado a todos los fundidores que suministran el 3TG a su cadena de suministro? La respuesta es para estaño y oro, sí. Los otros, tantalio y tungsteno, no han sido empleados dentro de la fabricación o como parte de la fabricación de los productos de este proveedor. La pregunta número 7. ¿Se ha incluido en esta declaración toda la información aplicable del fundidor recibida por su compañía? Para los minerales en cuestión, estaño y oro, sí. Translations. How can translations be evaluated? In order to avoid subjective evaluations, a model for practitioners is required. Does the separation according to House Makes sense? House defined a model for evaluating translations with the separation of social, cultural, ethical, ideological, and individual value judgments. A separation between only linguistic errors and translation errors was also mapped in this research. Classification of translation errors by the meaning of them error. The classification is performed and split in mainly in four errors, from fatal error to insignificant error. Fatal error are the errors endanger security and or regulatory compliance, violation of the standards of the target language. Hints to identify them is the combination of pragmatic translation errors plus cultural translation errors plus linguistic translation errors. It's evaluated with a note of 10 points. Major errors are functional failure and annoyance of the customer. Statutory provisions are not affected. It's a combination of pragmatic translation errors plus cultural translation errors or pragmatic translation errors plus linguistic translation errors. It's evaluated with a note of 8. Medium error are dissatisfaction of the customer because the translation predefined target function and thus the translation job has not been fulfilled. A.G. Pragmatic translation errors. And these are pragmatic translation errors without any combination. And it's evaluate with 5 points. Minor errors are the errors which are insignificant and the customer is slightly harassed. The customer will probably only be slightly notice the customer will probably only be slightly notice any impairment on the objects of investigation, no violation of the standards of the target language. Insignificant errors are linguistic translation errors. There is no violation detected. And these are mainly linguistic translation errors. In conclusion, our findings have highlighted the importance of evaluate translation errors in a structured manner. The research represents a useful resource for translator training since it offers the wider context of expressions in sustainability in general and conflict minerals in particular. The research presents relevant collocations for using while practitioners and academics document conflict minerals report. The study contributes to enrich the literature related to translations, proposing a solution to evaluate and avoid translation errors. Some of the most relevant authors for this research were Getz, Hausman, House, Huertas, North, especially North, who also defined in the 90s a kind of evaluation for translation errors and was especially investigated and especially analyzed. So, and at this point, at the end of my presentation, I thank you very much for your attention. And if do you have any question or inquiry, please do not hesitate to contact me through the committee and have a nice conference. Bye bye.